Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Kicking off our show today, some big news in the sports world, as last night was the beginning of the 2025 NFL Draft. Several former West Bloomfield Lakers have declared for the draft this year, ready to take the next steps in their athletic careers and make it to the big time. Before this draft, only 2 former Lakers have been drafted into the NFL. Matthew Judon, who was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens in 2016, and Javon Foster, who was drafted just last year by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, last night, a third name has been added to that list as Laker legend Maxwell Hairston was drafted as pick number 30 in the first round by the Buffalo Bills. The first time that a former Laker was selected in the first round of the NFL Draft. You can see the footage right now on our screen if you're watching on Civic Center TV of Maxwell getting the news as he is making it into the NFL. Maxwell was a cornerback for the University of Kentucky, having committed there after his time at West Bloomfield, and impressed several teams this year with the fastest 40-yard dash time at the NFL Scouting Combine. He has shown immense dedication and sportsmanship, and it has led him all the way to the NFL. So a huge congratulations to Maxwell for all of his success, as everyone back here in West Bloomfield is incredibly proud of how far he has come. With the spring season coming up right here in West Bloomfield, this Sunday, it will be a sunny with a high of 66, and you can enjoy the great outdoors with a nature spring walk hosted by the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. Civic Center TV reporter Kevin McIntosh went on a tour for a sneak preview.
The Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary is a community staple, giving local residents an opportunity to connect with the nature in their backyard. The Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society hosts a nature walk right in this sanctuary, and I had an opportunity to explore it myself and see what makes this sanctuary so special.
We are in the heart of West Bloomfield, and it's a place that could be driven by so easily on the way to the mall or a store. We are tucked in here. We're 35 beautiful acres that includes a prairie, hardwoods, evergreens, wetland, and other really beautiful stuff. So you can come here. There's so many different habitats, which gives you a great opportunity to see lots of different wildlife.
Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society's naturalist, Carol Fink, showed me around the nature sanctuary and pointed out its unique features. She continued by sharing her routine before walking on the trail and her suggestions for enjoying the environment.
What I recommend is when you come here, leave your cell phones home if you can, leave your troubles in the parking lot, and experience Be a part of nature. Enjoy it. Live every moment that you're here. And that includes looking at the bark of a tree. Use your hands. Feel what the bark feels like. Smell the wildflowers. See the wildlife. Listen for the bird signs. It's a very unique, beautiful place. I kind of think of it as my corner gourmet store compared to several bigger sanctuaries. This place is home.
This public space is owned by West Bloomfield School District, and the Nature Walk is hosted by the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. Outside of updating the trail with fresh gravel, planting trees, and picking up occasional trash, the Nature Sanctuary is left as is with little to no cleanup.
Sometimes I feel driven to bring out my vacuum cleaner and my dust cloth, but I don't, because what we want to do, this is nature's house. This is Mother Nature's house, and we like to leave as much of it natural as we can. You'll see some trees that are sawed and laid over to the side of the path, and that was so people could get by if there was a tree down or a limb that's loose that might fall and hurt someone. But it's our intention to keep our woods wild and natural, because that's a habitat for the animals. The animals have a safe place to nest, to feed, and to rest. So we do it for the critters.
Insects, animals, and wildlife plants, all available at the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary. If you're ever looking for a reason to get out of the house and explore our great outdoors right here in Greater West Bloomfield, the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society's Nature Walk right here in the sanctuary should be a great option. From the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary, I'm Kevin McIntosh, Civic Center TV.
Big thank you to Kevin for going out and getting that story and enjoying this beautiful weather we've been having recently in Michigan. Sunday, April 27th from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary in Orchard Lake. Get outside and learn about nature and the history of our local community. Get more info on their Facebook page at GWBHS or on their website at gwbhs.org. As we said just a moment ago, lots of people all throughout Greater West Bloomfield are sharing their joy at Maxwell Hairston for being drafted into the NFL by the Buffalo Bills at pick number 30. One of those people is former Lakers assistant coach Kason Dickerson, who tweeted out, "Add first round to my resume," sharing his joy at Hairston's status, as he absolutely should be very, very excited to see one of his players make the big time. And joining us right now on The Splash to share his thoughts on the big news, we have someone else who was with Maxwell Hairston at the very beginning, West Bloomfield High School football coach Zach Hilbers. Zach, good morning.
Hey, good morning. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. I know you've got to be really, really excited at this big news. You were the assistant coach during Max's time with West Bloomfield, and you've seen him from how he started and where he's gone since then. What was your initial reaction when you heard Maxwell Hairston got drafted into the NFL?
Well, I mean, I guess it was a combination of just being overjoyed, like, I guess it's natural, and a little bit of relief too, just knowing that the whole process, and after the combine, when he kind of blew up and it became like really real, that he got a chance to showcase his ability a little bit and became a little bit of a national story, I guess. To kind of finish the process, I guess, even though it wasn't totally under his control at that point, but to really just to see it actually happen, because it's kind of been on my mind since, what is that, late February or so. So I guess on a personal note, my dad's from Buffalo, and he's like the happiest guy in the world. If you know anybody from that part of Western New York, like they're a special, tight-knit group of people. So like he feels like it's already part of his family.
I'd imagine so. And you're absolutely right. He had the fastest time with the 40-yard dash at the combine, made a huge impression, and being invited out to Green Bay, that doesn't happen to just anybody. So Maxwell has certainly come a long way since his time at West Bloomfield. I want you to take us back to when you first met him. What stood out about Max Hairston as a player and as a person?
It was 7th grade, middle school basketball when I first met him.
Wow.
Former coach, Coach Bellamy, and our offensive coordinator, Coach Rise, they coached our middle school teams at the time. And they kind of told us, like, you guys got to come check some of these kids out that we have on the team. So it's him and Donovan Edwards. We got a great picture of the two of them on the team together with some of the other guys that ended up playing for us. But if you remember him at that age, man, it was the big smile and a scrawny little body, and he was always happy and joking. And, he filled out and grew up a little bit, but as you can see from TV last night and, his interviews the last couple months, the smile's always still there. So I'm glad that's still there, because it was always the first thing everyone saw, like when you first met him.
You're absolutely right. I was watching the draft last night, and one of the big things everyone has been talking about with Max Hairston has been his personality. Like, when everybody else was getting drafted before him, like Travis Hunter and Cam Ward, they were walking right by Max Hairston, and he was hugging them and giving them all the praise in the world. And that energy is just so infectious, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. And like, it's genuine. It was, like I said, it was like that when he was whatever seventh grader is, 12 years old when I met him. He's still like that now. And if you saw, it was one of the coolest things was seeing his mom and dad and his sisters like sharing the moment with them and hearing from them, because they were such a great family too. So I guess it's not surprising that, he is the way he is, and he has those characteristics.
Absolutely. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have West Bloomfield football coach Zach Hilbers joining us right now, sharing his thoughts on the exciting news of Maxwell Hairston, a former West Bloomfield Laker, being drafted into the NFL by the Buffalo Bills just last night. And Zach, when Max began his career at West Bloomfield, he was a bit on the smaller side. He was a bit of a smaller athlete and wasn't particularly intimidating as a defensive back, but he always had this natural aura of talent. What do you think was the big difference maker in this transition into the big leagues?
Well, I think to play the position that he plays at the level he plays at, you have to be confident in yourself. Because, if you follow football at all, defensive backs, like, they don't have a lot of rules, like, for the game that go in their favor. It's a very difficult position to play, and you're going to lose some of those battles, I guess, for lack of a better description. So you have to have the confidence in yourself and your abilities, and he always had that. But it wasn't necessarily, I guess, because confidence, I guess, can be misunderstood into arrogance, and I don't know if that's the case with him. But you have to have a belief in yourself that and your abilities that you can do it. He always had that. So when his body, I guess, kind of caught up with him his junior year, and he started to get a little bit longer, and he was still pretty skinny. But then, after he grew, he started filling out, and he really exploded his senior year. Had just a tremendous season for us here. And it's been nonstop ever since.
That's right. And we've had Max on our show in the past when he was in high school on Civic Center TV. You probably just saw some clips of him being interviewed by Dave Scott and Tyler Keefe in the past. What kind of impact would you say that Max had on the West Bloomfield football program while he was a student?
Oh my gosh. Like you'd expect, a tremendous impact. And we were a pretty talented team. We won the state title his senior year, through the COVID mess of a year where, not to go back into bad times, but, our season was canceled and reinstated and then canceled and restarted, I think 2 or 3 different times. And him and really his classmates that year, they never lost hope in the fact that we were going to get to where our goals had us at in the state finals and winning it, even when we were sitting at home with the season canceled. So the impact that him and those guys had on us as a coaching staff, because I'll be honest, when in October or November, we're in the middle of the playoffs and they postponed the season again, I kind of lost hope. This is it, probably. And those guys never did. They stayed mentally ready. And when we were allowed to get back out in the field in January that year, we did. And it was incredible times.
I would imagine so. And I'm sure there are a lot of moments from Max's time when he was at West Bloomfield that stand out to you of what he's brought to this team. Is there a specific moment or a specific game from high school that really captured who Maxwell Hairston was as a competitor?
I guess it's easy to point to would have been the semifinal game that year when we played Belleville at their place. It's just a tremendous game. Went right down to the wire. We won in overtime because they had some really good players too. And to have a guy like Max that could just match up and take over half the field as a defense was obviously really valuable to us winning. But in a weird way, a lot of my memories, and maybe it's because I was the quarterback coach at the time, go to when we would pull him over on offense and use him, because there wasn't much secrets about him. He was on the field on offense. We threw him the ball, and he scored. And it's kind of like, maybe we should be doing this a little bit more often. But it was, I don't know, we kept telling ourselves, like, this can't keep working. We can't just we got to use him as a decoy or this or that. It's like, no, when he was out there, we threw him the ball and he scored. I guess in hindsight, yeah, it makes sense.
A very, very crafty player, and now he is making the jump right into the NFL. His brand new team, the Buffalo Bills. What do you think Max Hairston is going to be bringing to his new NFL team, both on the field and in the locker room?
Well, like I mentioned, his confidence. I think he's going to bring that with him because I know that that's who he is, and it's what he's going to need to succeed. And Buffalo's a team and a program that's been right on the doorstep for maybe 4 or 5 years now, and they're just looking for one thing to, like, one domino, I guess, to fall to push him over the top. And hopefully that's what he brings. It's just himself. I don't think he should change who he is as a person. I don't expect him to, just to be himself and trust his abilities. And like I said, hopefully he's that piece that they need.
Be yourself, trust your abilities. That's all you can do. Now, as we said earlier in the show, Max Hairston is the highest drafted Laker in history, higher above Matthew Judon and Javon Foster, who have been drafted in the past. What kind of precedent do you think this sets for West Bloomfield, especially since there are other players still up for the draft later on, like Donovan Edwards, Lance Dixon, Tyrone Broden? What do you see this meaning for West Bloomfield?
I guess, we've seen local guys go that high, whether it was Eric Fisher from Stony Creek or the Cass Tech and Detroit King have had a lot of players up there, and I can't go through the list of everyone, but I guess it just shows that, like, yeah, it can definitely happen here too. And while Max was always a really good athlete, we knew that he had a bright future. I'd be lying to you if when I saw him in 7th grade, I said, that's a first-round NFL draft pick. Because, he was a scrawny little kid that was really athletic and a good basketball player. But you never really know how kids are going to develop. And obviously his natural physical maturation along with his hard work got him to where he is. So I guess it really is possible. Like, you see it happen to other people, and obviously we're pulling for the rest of our guys both tonight and tomorrow. We're really hoping they get their dreams realized too, and they get this level of excitement. But we hope it's the first of many, but also at the same time you have to stop and realize how special it is, and that it might be a really long time before it happens again.
Maybe, but these guys have come a long way, and it's because of their impact that they made at West Bloomfield that they are where they are right now. Matthew Judon's number 99 has been retired by the West Bloomfield Lakers, if I'm not mistaken. Do you think other numbers, like the numbers for Javon Foster or Max Hairston or some of the other players we've yet to see yet, might be retired down the line?
Yeah, it's possible. Like, trust me, the kids have asked me about it. Like, our former players, they go, what do we got to do to get our number up there too? So it's definitely on our minds, and we probably should have came up with more of a procedure, I guess, and some guidelines to the process before doing Matthews, because now all of them want to be up there, and I'm like, hey guys, we still need to have some guys, wearing our jerseys. We're not the New York Yankees out here with half of the jerseys numbers up there in center field. But we hope it's on the horizon, because that means that they've gone on to do really good things and they're having good careers.
That's absolutely right. That's all we can hope for every single one of these Lakers. Zach, just a couple more questions before we wrap things up. I want to know, how do moments like this for you, seeing a former player get drafted, affect you and the current players that are in your program?
Oh, there's definitely a buzz. There was a buzz with our kids during the combine weeks, asking, like, what do you think Max is going to run? What's Donovan going to run? And both of them ran faster than I thought they would. Like, I was very hopeful, but when you see it happen, it really popped off the screen, which was cool. But yeah, they're all really excited. They're all really happy for him. And we've had some. Max has been pretty busy, but we've had some of the other guys that are home for the draft, like up through the school, like using our weight room, working out on the field, and they've been out talking to the kids. They've been outstanding. So they get really excited about it too, because they see someone who really not that long ago was in the exact same spot as them.
That's right. It's a big inspiration for a lot of these Lakers as they look to the future and see, hey, that could be me one day. And I certainly hope that can be the case for a lot of these Lakers. Zach, last question for you before we let you go. Any final words you have to say regarding the future of Max Hairston and the future of these other Laker greats as they might be taking the next step into the NFL?
Yeah, just that, we're overwhelmingly happy for Max, and we hope that we're in the same situation for some of his former teammates over the next couple of days. And they should treat it like the celebration that it is. But what we always believe is we've arrived closer to the destination. It's been a goal of his for a long time to get to where he's at, but the job's not done. Just keep the same work ethic that got you there. All the hard work that put you in a position to run like you did at the Combine and have the career you had at Kentucky. Just keep doing the same things, take it to another level. So as great of a moment as it is, you don't want it to be the pinnacle either. You want the future and what's ahead of you to be, what you really look back on and cherish. So, hopefully that's ahead for him and some of the other guys too.
That's absolutely right. The future is bright and there is a lot of work to do ahead. But today we celebrate what is happening to Max Hairston and for the other Lakers down the line. Zach, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live to share your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course, and once again, another big congratulations to Maxwell Hairston for making it into the NFL. Can't wait to see him put on that blue and white jersey for the Buffalo Bills in just a few short months. The West Bloomfield High School Theater Department has been hard at work these last few weeks getting ready for their spring musical of the Roald Dahl classic Matilda. But it's not just the actors who've been hard at work putting this show together, but the directors as well. The student directors, in fact. I had the chance to speak with Matilda's student directors to find out what they've taken away from this unique experience and the differences in being on this side of a show.
It has been really amazing. I am very grateful for this opportunity. I had really wanted to get into directing and just step into that side of the world from just differentiating myself from an actor. And I think that working with my partner has really just made it top tier, and I just really enjoyed it.
What made you develop an interest in directing?
I just had a ton of ideas, and from an acting standpoint, you're not really supposed to just, throw your ideas out there. And so being able to do that and throw my artistic vision into something and watch it come to life on stage was something I was really interested in. It's really beautiful each time, especially with starting from the beginning. You get to see the actors really grow into their characters, and not only grow as their character, but into who they are as a person.
What I have noticed is that, I've been made more aware of myself, and as an actor, I think I've gained more respect. And in a sense, because when you're just an actor, when the director's tripping or just has some type of I see why now. I see how to be more kind and have a better understanding. So I think that's one thing I've learned.
What would be some of the challenges that you think people might not be aware of when tackling something like this?
When you come from being a friend to your peers, to someone that's higher over them, I feel like respect is something that could be a challenge. Having people see you as something different, you have to really assert yourself in a way for them to really understand who you are, for them to take you serious. I feel like that's something that's a challenge.
I feel like people aren't really aware of how much work we really do put in. We are here all the time, every day, and it's not a bad thing at all. That's why our productions are so good. You talk to your friends and you're like, yeah, I'm here till 6:30. Yeah, I'm here till 9 o'clock. And they're like, wow, I can never do that. But it doesn't feel like work. Never does. It's just always real fun.
What's it been like to work closely with some of the main directors and the teachers in this way, and to learn from them and to work alongside them?
It has gained me more respect for them, and a better understanding. When working with the main directors, I just see a different side of them that I didn't see as an actor. I get to understand their point of view, and I feel like I've gained a better bond with them. And then working so closely with somebody that's my peer has really made us closer, and that will probably be a long-lasting friendship.
Theater is something that means the world to me, and it's literally the only thing that I do. And I put my soul, my heart into everything. And even in schoolwork, it's something you can always take with you, to put your 100% into everything.
I love covering stories like this. It always takes me back to my time from when I was in high school theater. Everyone has been hard at work to help make this show possible, and it was cool to hear from a different side of the experience that most people might not be aware of. Matilda premieres next week at West Bloomfield High School from May 1st to May 3rd. And stay tuned here on the Splash Live, where we will speak to some of the actors from Matilda to hear their thoughts on this incredible experience. But we've got plenty other great stories and great topics to get into right after this quick break, right here on the Splash Live. Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Bringing you stories and memories from West Bloomfield. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Hi, I'm Chris Fry, Park Superintendent, West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on 1 million views on YouTube. Thank you for all you do in the community, and thank you for having me on The Splash throughout the season to talk about activities out in the parks. Chris Fry, proud to be 1 in a million.
Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Next week, West Bloomfield High School will be putting on their final show of the school year, Matilda, the Road Doll Classic, which has turned into a musical. That will be showing from May 1st to May 3rd. It's the final show of the school year, which means the final show for some of the West Bloomfield seniors who have been giving their all to this department. Joining me now on The Splash are two of the stars of Matilda, seniors Elena Gwynn and Janae Bearden. Thank you both so much for joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Glad to have you with us. Now, with this being such a big show, how do you feel about this production that stands out compared to others you've been part of in the past? Elena, we'll start with you.
Okay. This show has been one of the biggest learning experiences I've ever had in theater, mainly because I went out of my typecast, and that is an entirely new world for me. Usually I don't play like such soft and like kind characters like Miss Honey, but doing this year has been like life-changing, and it's made me realize that when I do this in college and like in future projects, that I'm not going to be afraid to step out of my type, and I'm always going to want to do this in the future. And it's just made me more confident in myself, more confident in my craft, and it's made me want to continue my craft and just get better and better at it.
Awesome. Always love to hear that. Janae, what about you? How has this production stood out compared to others you've been a part of in the past?
I think it's definitely the community, the people that we have in this musical. It just brought us all together, and I think we're stronger in unity. And it's just been a great experience working with these new people. And most of our cast is underclassmen, and they're doing so well, and they're shining so bright. And I'm so proud of them, and to be a part of this cast as a senior and then leaving a big mark.
I'd imagine so. And I was there yesterday seeing all of the action, seeing everybody on that stage having the time of their life. I'd imagine it's the same thing behind the scenes. Can you tell us a little more about your roles in Matilda and what excites you the most about this performance?
I can take that first. I play Miss Honey, which is Matilda's kind and loving teacher, and she ends up taking her under her wing later into the show. And what excites me the most about this role is definitely the songs. I love the songs that Miss Honey gets to sing. They're just so kind and loving, and it just shows a side of the show that we don't get to see a lot, considering that Miss Trunchbull is kind of like the ruling head figure of the show. So when I get to sing these songs on stage, it's just pushing out another perspective to the audience that they get to see maybe like a couple times in the show, like in the beginning of the show, but more in the end of the show.
Janae, same question.
For me, I play Miss Agatha Trunchbull, the mean headmistress. And it's so amazing to play her. I've always been the type to be like this dominant character, lead the room strong. And with Trunchbull, she's kind of crazy. We have no idea what's going on with her. We just know that she's the head of everything. And it's so fun to play her because not only she's the head, but like I said, she's crazy. She has a little bit of ups and downs, and she fluctuates, and it's fun to play her. I'm a wrestler. I come from that background. To implement that stuff on stage is like a big dream for me. And it's so great to play her and kind of put my own twist into Trunchbull.
Awesome. Good to hear how you guys have been interpreting the characters and how this is going to be affecting your performances very, very soon. Now, as we said, both of you guys are seniors with West Bloomfield High School, which means that this is your final show with the theater department as you both head off to college. Elena, I'm going to ask this question to you. How has being involved in theater shaped your high school experience overall?
Honestly, it's been the biggest, like I said earlier, the biggest learning experience in high school, really. It has taught me resilience. It's taught me how to build communities, whether that's just building community in theater or building community outside of theater. It's taught me like people skills, learning how to relate to someone, not being so stuck in yourself, so stuck in your own bubble. Because when you're acting, when you're doing theater, you need to be aware of everything around you, aware of everybody around you. So when you take on that and you use it outside of theater and in high school, it teaches you how to be a better friend, a better person, a better student, definitely. It's just made me just so much more aware of what I'm doing in my life and how I want it to not only affect myself, but affect others. It's made me realize that, the way I treat people on and off stage, it matters. It matters so much because you leave a lasting effect on people when you speak to them. And you don't want the last time you speak to somebody to be a negative. You always want to make sure you put your best foot forward. You're being the kindest version of yourself that you can be. And doing theater has taught me that needs to be you all the time. You need to always be positive, whether you're having, the worst day of your life or the best day of your life. You need to share that positivity with everyone around you because it's not all about yourself. Because somebody else might be having a bad day, and then when you add on to that, everybody's having a bad day, the department's having a bad day, and especially in theater, when somebody's having a bad day and they make it apparent, the whole vibe of the room changes, and it changes how we feel towards one another. And making sure that we have that community is very important. And we don't want the community to be like sacrificed for like hurt feelings or bad feelings. So making sure that I'm staying positive, not just me, but everybody, has been one of the biggest learning experiences doing theater in high school and out of high school.
I absolutely love that outlook. That's exactly the outlook you should have. Janae, this next question's for you. You've been with the theater department for a while. What are some of the most valuable lessons you've learned through being a part of a program like this?
Keep your head up. In the acting world, you're not always going to get the role that you want. That's just life. But you just have to keep it moving because when you have that mindset to keep going, even if you don't get the role that you want, it's going to show your directors, it's going to show your peers that, this person thinks differently. They still enjoy what they got. And that's going to make them say, they deserve another chance. They deserve to get this lead role. And I think that especially is something that applies to me because I didn't always get the role that I wanted. But when I did get a role, I stepped into it, I embraced it, and that's what made me stand out. And I think that's what a lot of our underclassmen should take with them because it's hard not getting what you want, but if you wait and you take your time and you show them your skills, you're going to get what you want.
Another great outlook. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have Janae Bearden and Elena Gwynn from this upcoming production of Matilda at West Bloomfield High School. They are seniors in the theater department, and they are talking about their experience as being a part of this incredible show, and as they are saying goodbye to the theater department as they are seniors and they're heading off to college. Janae, what emotions are you feeling as you approach your final performance with the theater department?
I mean, I feel like the emotions haven't really set in yet. Definitely yesterday, watching the show kind of come together, I definitely had a few tears, especially during Elena's songs, because they're beautiful. But it's just so great to be working with my best friend as the lead and kind of fulfilling this dream that we always had. And I know opening night, closing night, all the shows, I'm going to be crying, but I have to stay character, but I'm going to be crying because it feels so good to end the year with an amazing cast, an amazing musical, and an amazing best friend.
Absolutely, I would imagine so. I got one more question for both of you before we let you go. What advice would you give to younger students who are just starting out in the theater department? Elena, we'll start with you.
I would say to first listen to your director and listen to the people who are older than you, because first starting out, everything's going to be so new to you. Everything, when you step on that stage, there's going to be like rules, unspoken rules, definitely, that you don't know. So I would say to listen and watch before you act and speak, in a sense. And if you have any questions, ask. Don't wait for somebody to have to come up to you and be like, hey, did you know, blah, 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 blah. No, if you have a dire question or even a small question, ask, and it could ask a peer, ask someone who's older than you, a senior, a junior, a sophomore, someone who has that experience, because not only are you going to get more insight, you are going to learn more about yourself, learn more about the people around you, and that's how you build friends in theater. You ask questions, then it's, oh, I have another question. Do you want to go to the arcade one day after, or do you want to go to the arcade after rehearsal or after the cast list comes out? There's just little things that you can do to build a community. And I would also say to just live in the moment. Like, there's going to be times where you are going to be stressed, you're going to cry, and there's going to be times where you're going to be happy and you're going to love everything around you. But you need to make sure that you're feeling all of those emotions. You're going to make sure you're feeling all of those emotions, and you just need to live through it. Like, don't hold anything back. Just be yourself and love the people around you.
Absolutely. Janae, 30 seconds, same question. What advice would you give to younger students?
Get involved. This is not just a theater thing, just a whole high school life thing. Get involved. Get in clubs. Make sure you're known, make new friends. This will make your high school experience so much better and so much more fun, especially with theater when you get involved. You get to be behind the scenes, on the stage. It's so much fun when you just put yourself out there.
Awesome. And big congratulations to both of you on your roles. Break a leg with Matilda. Elena, Janae, thank you so much for joining us this morning here on the Splash Live.
Yep, thank you.
Absolutely. Always love hearing about these stories. Can't wait to see what both of these girls and everybody else with the production are able to provide on the big stage. Once again, Matilda will be taking place from May 1st through May 3rd at West Bloomfield High School. Meet Me at the Flagpole, a community-wide interfaith prayer gathering, will be taking place on Thursday, May 1st at 12:30 p.m. on the Civic Center campus. This event is hosted by the Greater West Bloomfield Faith and Community Alliance in partnership with the West Bloomfield Police Department, with the purpose to observe the National Day of Prayer and offer a unified moment of spiritual reflection and solidarity. Kevin McIntosh recently spoke with Pastor Monica William to find out more.
I want to first get into this event, the details of it, just for anybody that's joining us right now. The who, what, where of the event. Can you give out those details, please?
Absolutely. Yes, we are inviting everybody in the community to join us at the flagpole outside the West Bloomfield Police Station at 12:30 on Thursday, May 1st for a brief prayer service, an interfaith prayer service where we can gather and spend time together lifting prayers for our country and the people that serve us in our community every day.
Okay. So now that we have the bases out there, let's kind of break this down. I want to ask you about that. What does this event, this Meet Me at the Flagpole event, mean to you personally and spiritually?
This is an event that came out of a conversation I had with our police chief, Dale Young, as he and I began talking about ways that we can work together to support our community and make faith a part of how we live in community and to lift up those who are serving our community every day. And our police force will be co-sponsoring this event, and we will have folks from the police department there to represent that department, as well as several of the members of the faith community leaders that are there, so that we can join together in an active community and to highlight the unity of our community and the ways that we all work together to create this wonderful place that is West Bloomfield, and a place that we love to live together. And to give thanks for that, and to pray for those who serve us every day, and to hope for the ways that God will lead us as a country in these divided times.
I love that. Great perspective as well. So in your role as the West Bloomfield Police Department's chaplain, how do you see faith and public service working hand in hand in our community?
You know, so many people that I know that are people of faith are in public service. And it's largely because when you have faith in life that is beyond you and powers that are beyond you, you learn to look at the world and the community around you as part of who you are and part of what's important to do. You don't learn to live life selfishly serving yourself all the time. You think about the community around you. And the more you think about the community around you and the more you care about those folks, the more you want to be a positive influence through your work, through your volunteering, just through the way that you live among other people.
Right. And just for more context as well, for people just watching and listening to us, your role as police department chaplain, can you just explain what that role is in general?
Well, you know, it's a fairly new space for me and for our police department. And so we are partly figuring out what is the way that we can most effectively use this role to serve our police force and our community. Part of what I will be doing is making sure that I'm just getting to know the folks that are serving our community as peace officers and helping to support them in the work that they do. Life can be very difficult when you're out working with the public and when you're working with people who are in crisis. And so to help the people that are helping those in crisis is my number one goal, and to be there for them and to help them through those pieces so that they can continue to do their job well and take care of themselves and their families. And then as needs come up in the community in which they need a faith leader, to be there for those events as well, and to be a connection to other faith communities that might be more meaningful to members of our community as they have needs for spiritual direction and support.
Okay. I love that. And congratulations on the new position. I love that we're incorporating that in our community as well. And, you know, working to kind of find different solutions and you're like the hero to our heroes. If I'm being honest, that's the way I kind of see it, and providing the strength for the strongest in our community. And once again, joining me right here live on The Splash, by the way, West Bloomfield Police Department Chaplain, Pastor Monica William, talking about the upcoming Meet Me at the Flagpole Prayer Day on Thursday, May 1st. Now, I want to ask you this. Usually religion and prayer is more of a sacred, intimate kind of thing. So why do you believe it's important for residents to take a moment to pray publicly and reflect together in a busy world?
Well, the private prayer is certainly an important piece of our lives and our world. We pray privately often, but the act of praying with others is a way for us to build our community. It's a way for us to express our faith together as a way of showing the ways that our faith can also serve not only our personal needs, but the ways that we interact with our community and the ways that we live a public faith, especially in a time when religion is being used to divide us and to create differences among us, and to be able to come together as people of faith to say we don't always think alike, but we do love alike, and we do care about this community, and to be part of a community that honors faith as part of what makes this community wonderful, and to be able to do that together, to honor one another's faith traditions, and to recognize that all of them are seeking a community of love and faith and unity and peace, and to be a public witness to that at a time when the public witness often is trying to divide us. It's important to come together.
100%. As you're speaking, I'm just agreeing with you. Like, yeah, that's what we all want. We all want to be respected. We all want to raise our family. We all want peace. And if we can all do that and use events like this to kind of set that precedent, then I'm all for it, and I'll advocate for it as well. Now, I also want to speak to the fact that this is an event that kind of involves the police as well as the community. So how do you feel like gatherings like this can positively impact relationships between residents and West Bloomfield Police Department?
You know, I'm all about relationships. And one of the things that I really appreciate about being a pastor here in the West Bloomfield community is the fact that so many of our faith and community leaders come together on a regular basis just to spend time together and to know each other. And when we know each other, then it's a whole lot easier when something comes up that needs our attention, that needs to be dealt with, for us to do that with grace, with kindness, with understanding, because we understand one another before we come to the table. And opportunities like this help us to know each other and to recognize where everybody is coming from and what we care about, so that when we need to work together on solving problems, we can do that effectively and efficiently, and with everybody's being honored, everybody's needs being honored.
Yeah, and I like it because it's given our local police an opportunity to be humanized as well, and it's giving, same thing, residents, to humanize them, just see them on a ground level. Hey, we are all here for the same cause. We're here to pray and to come together, and we all, like we talked about before, we all want safety and we want a safe community. So it brings us all down to that same level, and I love that. Now, what message of hope or encouragement or just message in general do you want people to take away from this year's event?
You know, I want people to be able to come together and to recognize that as a community, there are real people with real cares and real concerns and real goals that are part of our community, that rely on their faith to guide them each and every day. And that we have wonderful people in our police department, people that are serving our community with the highest level of service every single day. We want to give thanks for that and to recognize that. We know that in the news, there's often times when we hear about bad things that have happened with police officers, bad things that have happened with people of faith. And it's a chance for us to come together and to see who's really in our community, and to join our voices together as one, to give thanks for all of the good work that happens every day right here among us, and to recognize that, and to continue to pray for folks that are doing really good work, that they might continue to be able to serve us well.
Positivity highlighter. That's what I like to call. I love the way that you're wording this, Pastor, because you're hitting right on the nail on the head. Hey, I don't want to hold you up too much longer. I want to let you go. But lastly, how do you envision this event evolving or just growing in the future?
You know, we just hope that this would be an opportunity that would inspire people to come together, to have unity in our community, right? To help people to create a movement of a community of common purpose where we understand one another, work with our differences instead of working against each other, or just hiding in our houses and pretending like other people aren't the same as us.
Right.
We'd love to come together and to build a space in which everybody is welcome, everybody's voice matters, and that as a positive experience for us to come outside and to be together and to offer our prayers and lift one another in prayer, that we might create a space in which people are excited to come together and recognize that spirituality and service and unity are an important part of our community, and probably even the primary reality that we live in a time when we hear so much about division and hatred.
Right. No, I couldn't have said it better. Thank you so much for that word, for that message, and thank you for leading the charge on this event. For anyone that's just joined us, can you please lastly give out that information for our event again?
Absolutely. We hope everybody will come out and join us for an event called Meet Me at the Flagpole outside the West Bloomfield Police Department at 12:30 p.m. on Thursday, May 1st for a brief service of prayer. It's being hosted by the West Bloomfield Police Department and the Greater West Bloomfield Faith and Community Alliance, and we're excited to have you come join us for a lunchtime event where we will come together and lift our prayers and give thanks and hear from various members of our community as they lead us in prayer.
Well said. Thank you again so much for your time, your effort, and your information. Once again, from the West Bloomfield Police Department Chaplain, Pastor Monica Williams. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. It's been great to be with you.
Big thank you once again to Pastor William for taking the time to speak with Kevin and to hear about this great event. One more reminder, the Meet Me at the Flagpole event will be taking place on Thursday, May 1st at 12:30 p.m. Mark your calendars because Saturday, April 26th is National Drug Take-Back Day, a chance to drop off any expired and unused prescriptions in a safe manner. Disposal sites will be available at the West Bloomfield and Orchard Lake Police Departments. Zena Daly of the West Bloomfield Police Department recently came on the Splash Live to tell us all about the initiative. Zena, good morning.
Good morning, Jake. How are you?
Really good. Always a pleasure to have you on the show with us. Can you explain what National Drug Take-Back Day is and why it's so important for communities like West Bloomfield?
The DEA holds this National Take-Back Day twice a year. It's usually in April. This year is April 26th from 10 to 2 p.m. and again in October. This is basically because we want to be able to get pills out of people's homes that they no longer use or they've expired, they just don't need, and keep them out of the hands of the children or people that just don't need them or people that abuse them.
That's right. It's a proper way to help get rid of those medications that are just taking up clutter in your medicine cabinets and that you don't really want lying around. You don't want people taking a hold of them and doing something with them that could be potentially very harmful. So what types of medications can be dropped off during the event? And are there any restrictions residents should be made aware of?
Well, we take everything except for liquids and syringes. We do not accept those. And not only do we do this here with the DEA twice a year, but at our police department, and I believe Orchard Lake as well, and there's many other departments that have collection sites. You can bring them any day of the year, anytime. We have a drop box in our lobby, and you can dispose of all of your medication there. Again, same thing, no liquids and no syringes. There's also boxes, I believe, at CVS and Walgreens locations near their pharmacies where you can dispose of the medications.
Awesome. Lots of great ways for everybody to properly dispose of those medications. And what role would you say does the West Bloomfield Police Department play in coordinating and overseeing this initiative?
Well, we have an officer that works with the DEA task force, so he's a part of that. And like I said, we not only, even if he wasn't in that unit, we have worked with them for years where we are a collection site. And across the state, there's actually 272 agencies that participate in this National Take Back Day, and with 201 actual collection locations. And I will tell you, for last year in October, they accumulated for both the April and October collection days, they had 314 tons collected.
Oh, wow.
So again, keeping, it's just a convenient way, even though we do take it all year round, it's just a convenient way. It's, it's more advertised so people are aware that it's there. But I mean, it's definitely worthwhile. If you have that extra medication lying around, you don't want it, you don't know what to do with it, you don't want to flush it, it's just a safe way to get rid of it.
Wow, over 300 tons of these medications. That's truly something that showcases just how impactful something like this is. And how has participation in previous drug take-back days impacted public safety and awareness in the West Bloomfield community?
Oh, I mean, think about it. If we're collecting 300 and 14 tons of medication just in the state, like imagine just West Bloomfield, and you don't even have to live in West Bloomfield to dispose of it. Really, it's anyone from any community can come here and dispose, and any collection site. If any other departments they have it, which there are others that do collect all year round, it's just a safe way to get rid of it. You're keeping it out of the hands of the kids, and you'll hear a lot from the Greater West Bloomfield Community Coalition organization, where they're constantly trying to advertise, hey, let's get rid of the medication. Let's keep it out of the hands of the children. We don't want them in our schools. We don't want kids getting them and selling them. So it's just a safe way to do it. And we're all about trying to get them out of the schools and out of the hands of kids, and not just the kids, but just users that don't, need to stay away from these medications.
And this is a very important way to help make sure that these drugs do stay out of kids' hands. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, we have police officer with the West Bloomfield Police Department, Zena Daly, joining us right now on the Splash to talk about the upcoming drug take-back day that's going to be taking place right here in West Bloomfield on Saturday, April 26th. Now, how does safely disposing of medications help prevent misuse, especially among teens and young adults?
Well, obviously, for keeping around the house, it's easy to get to. You go to the medicine cabinet, you have friends that come over, your kids go to other people's homes, they check the medicine cabinets, and they have easy access to it.
That's right. Lots of easy access in ways people might not realize. Like, even if you think you have them tucked away in a very safe spot, kids could snoop around. They could look in places
and they do.
They absolutely do. They could look in places you don't expect them to, and then they could end up with something they should not be having. So why is it important to educate the public not only about prescription drug misuse, but also about environmental impacts of improper disposal?
Well, because exactly what you said, right? You don't want to flush it down the toilet, and now it's in our waters. It's in our earth, right? So we want to make sure that we're taking care of it safely.
That's right. All very important things to keep in mind. And what advice, Zena, do you have for families who may have unused or expired medications at home, but aren't sure what to do with them year-round?
Well, like I said, we have a box in our lobby 24 hours a day, all year round. Come by, drop it off. We have our public service aides at the front desk. They will help you if there's something that you're not sure if you can dispose of or not. Like I said, no liquids, no syringes. They'll take the bag from you, or you could throw it right into the box yourself. And I also want to add that the Greater West Bloomfield Community Coalition also did receive these from Oakland County. There are these lock boxes that are meant to store your medication. If you do have medication that you're keeping because you need them, obviously, but you want to find a safe way to store them, they have these convenient lock boxes. They are free, and we have them at the police department to pick up if you would like. They're pretty good size, and they have a lock where you can see right here. And not only that, but they also have lock bags. So you can come by and grab one of each or one or the other. It's up to you. But these are for medications that you do need at home, but you want to be able to make sure your kids don't get to it or no one else gets to it that's not supposed to.
That's right. Those are great resources to hang on to those medications that are very important, that you don't want to end up in the hands of someone who doesn't need them.
Right.
And with things like this, the drug take-back event in West Bloomfield, how can residents continue supporting drug safety initiatives beyond just this event?
By talking about it and letting other people know. Word of mouth is always the best. You know someone that does have medication they need to get rid of, and they are holding on to it, not aware of that we have these boxes. Educate them, let them know that they can bring it here. They can drop it off anytime they want, not just on the National DEA Take-Back Day.
All great information. Zena, I got one more quick question for you before we let you go. Where can people in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond go to learn a little bit more information about the drug take-back day, should they have some more questions?
You can go on our Facebook or Instagram pages. We'll have information on that, as well as the Greater West Bloomfield Community Coalition page. They have it advertised as well.
All great ways to stay informed and to stay up to date on this great resource to help get rid of those drugs and expired drugs in your household. Right. Zena, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Have a great day.
A big thank you to Zena Daly for taking the time to speak with us about this safe and effective way to get rid of your expired prescription medications in an effective way. So once again, Drug Take Back Day is going to be taking place this Saturday, April 27th. April 26th. This past weekend, the Detroit Free Press Marathon's Road to Detroit Training Group run took place in West Bloomfield on the West Bloomfield Trail. Our very own reporter, Kevin McIntosh, attended the event to speak to some local runners and to find out their interest in this event.
The Road to Detroit Free Press Marathon made a stop right here in West Bloomfield. We're out at the early morning training run to see why this event is so important and what's inspiring runners to lace up and keep going.
I'm all about health and wealth and, to keep myself from continuously being obese back and forth. So anytime a run is scheduled or there's an opportunity to do some physical activity, I'm all for it.
I've only done one marathon so far. That was December 2023 in Hawaii. So my friends are always pushing me to go to the next level. So this year I decided to go to the next level. So I came out here. I need to get some trail running in and just miles in general.
It's Saturday and I had to do 10 miles. Yeah, it's a normal Saturday run for me, 10 miles.
Achieving personal goals, training for the Detroit Free Press Marathon, or running your regular routes bring these local residents together. But Ambassador for the Road to Detroit Training Group, Courtney Chase, tells us the goal for the event, while others tell us why they enjoyed the group run.
The goal is to get the community involved in their marathon training with other runners so that we can create an environment where everyone feels welcome to come to.
Running in a group keeps you motivated. It's fun, it's entertaining. You can go different paces. There's fast runners, slow runners, so you never feel like you're getting left behind. And then they always just push you to do whatever miles you set out to do.
So when you run with a group, sometimes you run with people faster and sometimes you run with people slower. So it gives you the opportunity to push yourself or pull yourself back if you're always doing too much. So it gives you, that type of feeling when you're running with a group versus when you're running solo.
Beyond achieving personal goals, local runner DeLorean Cotton tells us why events like this is important for runners of the Greater West Bloomfield community.
I think it means a lot. I think it means that people of all, areas or all avenues are able to come together and fellowship for one cause. So I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think it's a wonderful thing for the community as well.
Oh, it's just a chance for us to get together. Like I said, it's a community thing. We get together, we hang out, we go for a run, we have a good time.
It grows around the community. There are people that you'll meet here that end up becoming your friends for the rest of your life. So it's really just about building the community, even just aside from running.
With every step, runners are getting closer to their marathon and personal goals, and West Bloomfield is proud to be part of that journey. From the West Bloomfield Trail, I'm Kevin McIntosh, Civic Center TV.
Glad to see everybody getting outside again. That is going to do it for us today here on the Splash Live. Big thank you to all of our guests and for everyone on our team for helping to make this fantastic show possible. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.